The frequency table below shows the length of the selected movies shown in a local theater over the past 6 months. A says complete the relative frequency column. Round the relative frequencies to the nearest thousandths place. First, we need to start by finding the total amount of movies that they calculated, or how many movies they observed. So we have 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 as our total. You could also add up this column, that should give you 28. So over here, to find the relative frequency, we need to divide the frequency by the total. And we're going to find those as a decimal, and we do get to use our calculator, and we're going to round it to the nearest thousandths, which means we need 3 decimal places. One divided by 28 is 0.0357. The 7 rounds that 5 up to a 6. So we're going to also make this one the same. 4 divided by 28 is 0.142, but the 2 is followed by an 8, which rounds it up to a 3. 7 divided by 28 is a quarter. So we can fill this one in as well. 5 divided by 28 is 0.1785. The 5 rounds that 8 up to a 9. And 3 divided by 28 is 0.107. The next number is a 1, so the 7 just stays where it is. What percentages of the movies are greater than or equal to 130? So we're looking for 130 or bigger or longer. And there are 4 movies out of the 28. As a percent, that is 14.3%. You have to move the decimal 2 spots. For our relative frequency, we want our x-axis to have the intervals. Remember, we're going to start from 0, and then we're going to jump all the way to 80. So we need that little squiggly thing that says we skipped a chunk. Then we need our y-axis to count by 0.05 all the way up until 0.3. Then we need to sketch our bars up to those frequencies. Then our shape is either skewed or symmetric, and if we were to put a line down the middle of our data, we would see that both sides are pretty similar. So we would say this one is symmetric. What does the shape tell us about the length of the movie times? The shape tells us that most movies last between 90 and 140 minutes. You might even say that most movies last between 100 and 130. You might get even closer to the middle. A says, what is the total number of compact cars? So we need to count the tallies. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Complete the relative frequency column. Remember, this is the frequency divided by the total number of cars. Rounding to the nearest thousandth means we need 3 decimal spots. 3 divided by 16 is 0.1875, but the 5 makes that 7 bump up to an 8. 4 out of 16 is 0.25, but because we want 3 spots, we can put a 0 after it. 0 is just going to be 0. 5 divided by 16 is 0.3125, but the 2 is rounded up to a 3. 2 out of 16 is 0.125, and 1 out of 16 is 0.0625. The 5 rounds it up to a 3. C, asks what percentage or what percent of the cars get between 31 and up to 37. So from 31 through 37. There are 9 total cars that get between 31 and 37 out of the 16 cars in all. So 9 divided by 16 is 0.5625. If we want it as a percent, we move that decimal 2 spots, which turns us into 56.25%. Juan drew the relative frequency histogram of the highway miles per gallon for the compact cars shown on the right. Did he draw the histogram correctly? Well, if you look at 43 up to 49, he should have 0 there. And from 43 and up, he doesn't have 0. He has a value placed there. So his histogram is incorrect. The value at 43 to 46 should be 0. Should be 0.